I'm going to remind us something about these last days. You know, in 2 Timothy chapter 3, it talks about in the last days, perilous times will come. Men will be lovers of themselves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to all authority, unthankful and unholy, without natural affection and truce breakers, false accusers, without self-control, brutal despisers of those who are righteous, traitors, headstrong, arrogant, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of Yahweh. When you watch the news, you can hear, you can see every one of these taking place now. I was watching the news sometime, I think it was last week. They were showing the war increasing, the battles increasing in Aleppo. And I watched the video. I yell at the TV. I do not like the stuff they put on there, and it just aggravates me. I'm working on it. But I noticed the entire city was nothing but rubble. Everywhere that camera aimed, there was nothing but bombed out, destroyed buildings. You couldn't see the streets because of the rock, the stone that fell down on the ground from the buildings being destroyed. And I wondered, what are they fighting for? Why are they fighting in that city? There's nothing left. And it's not the only city like that. It's every one of those cities. Turn to page 678, the book of Daniel, Daniel chapter 7. Daniel 7:7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and exceedingly strong, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and broke in pieces, then trampled the residue with its feet. It was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Watching the news, reading this scripture, this one verse, it brings into my mind all of those people that used to live in those cities, in Aleppo and everywhere else. All of those that are displaced from these wars, from the famine, whether it's South Sudan or wherever else it may be. All the joblessness, all of that brings or destroys the hope of any and all of those people. They have no hope left. And it's all because of the Catholic Church deciding they do not want to follow Yahweh's laws. They don't want to follow the priest or be a part of the house of Yahweh. Everything that I saw, everything we see in those news videos, that's why it's all bombed out and destroyed. Because those people did not want to follow the way we're learning, we're being taught. Well, some of those people are going to be in that 2 billion that are going to come here very soon. Some of them. Remember Isaiah chapter 2? They're going to come here. We're going to teach them this way that we've been practicing however long we've been here at the house of Yahweh. And we're going to teach those people. And we're going to give them the hope that they've lost. A hope that was greater, that will be greater than the hope they ever had. Praise Yahweh. But let's take a few minutes and think about what's going on in their minds, in their hearts, because of what they've seen, what they've been through. Some of these people, when they get here, they've seen more suffering than any of us have seen. Now that's a guess, but I think it's a pretty educated guess. They've seen more suffering. They've watched soldiers march, storm into their towns, their villages. and their cities. And that's tragic enough. What they've seen and endured, it's much more than that. You watch those news videos and put people to those beings you see running across the street. They've watched their friends, their neighbors, their families shot in the streets. Others have watched their families, their friends, their neighbors starve to death. Their children. They've gone to school and been stolen from the schools and taken nobody really knows where. Some of them have been taken and put into the country's armies. They've endured and they've seen, they've witnessed rape, limbs cut off, heads severed, and how many other curses that come, all because of sin. All because of that fourth beast. Rebelling against what we're joyfully rejoicing to have a part in. They need that. They need that. They chose to follow their own desires. We're taught to put our own desires down. Their way brings nothing but war, death, misery, suffering, and destruction. Nothing in Yahweh's house brings that. It's always the opposite. Think about Yahweh's plan. I remember when we first came to the house of Yahweh. It's been a few years, but when we came, one of the big things is bring forth the holy seed. Bring forth the holy seed. That plan that Yahweh has, however old it is to bring forth the holy seed. We are that holy seed. We are the family being built with the name of Yahweh to take care of these people and everyone else of that make up that 2 billion. That's what we're here for. Turn to page 696, book of Amosia, Amosia chapter 3. Amosia chapter 3, verses 2 and 3. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, can 2 walk together unless they are in agreement? 2 or 2 billion. Plus us. Yahweh is building that family. We're being offered a place in that family. Their office is being established by us now so that they can be a part of that family. Pastors always told us the house of Yahweh has nothing to do with a building, but everything to do with the people that get in the building. This plan deals with people, individual people as a group. This plan that Yahweh established, He had sons. He knew what was going to take place. They disqualified themselves. We're being offered that opportunity to fill that position, those places within His family, and that's called the priesthood. Scripture also tells, if you continue to read in the book of Daniel, where in chapter 7, it tells you that those governments, that the beastly system, the fourth beast, it controls. It tells us they're going to destroy themselves. And then it's all going to be turned over to us. Do we take the time to think about what that means? What it's going to mean to the people that come here? That 1/5 that survives? How much they're going to depend on us for everything? As we depend on Yahweh and Pastor and Yeshua for everything now? Pastor is Yahweh to us. But very, very soon, We have to be Yahweh to every one of that 2 billion that's coming. We have to be Yahweh. Not just in those words. Those are real easy words to say. But by our actions, by our reactions, by the way we treat one another. Those people have been traumatized. But they're no different than the ones that are in the inner cities in Chicago, Los Angeles, New York City, Atlanta. It makes no difference where they are or where they're coming from. Those are all war zones. They've seen 1- and 2-year-old baby girls shot through the wall from drive-by shootings. They don't know if they can make it down the street without being shot or beat. We're going to have to be patient with them and ask them to be patient with us. But how patient can they be? How patient can they be? They should be joyful that they're going to receive jobs. Maybe they won't pay a whole lot, but they'll eat. They don't have to worry about somebody shooting them when they walk to the general store or robbing them. They'll no longer live a life that's of oppression. They're going to be able to rejoice, have joy, knowing that we're here to help them, to take care of them, to have long life. A long life that needs to be lived, that you would want to live. Not the kind of life that they have now. Look at page 471. 471, the book of Psalms 91. 471, Psalm 91, 14 through 16. 471. If I could get to 14 through 16. 91, 14 through 16. Yahweh says, because you have set your love upon me, I will deliver you. I will set you on high because you know my name. You will call me and I will answer you. I will be with you in trouble and I will deliver you and honor you. With long life I will satisfy you. I will show you my salvation. We need to fulfill these scriptures for those people that are coming. They need that, but it's part of the charge that we've been given. We're building the protected place that's called Abel. Through Yahweh, through Yeshua's inspiration to pastor's inspiration and instruction to us. We're here to help those people that are coming. Just as Yeshua did, because he didn't know I was going to be around. Not personally. He knew people were going to be in the 7th era of the house of Yahweh. But he lived his life and gave his life voluntarily so we could sit here today. We need to do the same thing for those that are on their way. Isn't that what First Tithes is about? To get the word, to get the warning, the message out? It's not to pay for the free booklets that you and I have. It's to get the others that are still out there here. The roadmap. It's the only roadmap I'd want to follow. We need to remember, we need to really take some time and think. This world constantly pushes and pushes and pushes every one of us to not take the time to think. We see the videos I mentioned of Aleppo and any other city that's all bombed out, and you see those people on the side of the road all huddled together, and then one at a time they try and run 50 feet, 100 feet, and some make it and some don't. But do we think about those are people? They're real people. They need us. We know that. But do we take the time to think about how we're going to do that? Do we take the time to think about the things we're still overcoming? How it can motivate us. How thinking about those people can motivate us to get better ourselves as a better person, man, woman, or child. We should think, how do I make this place a delight for all of those that are coming and all of those that are already here, and not just on the Sabbath? Every day. Every minute of every day. See, Yeshua understood this. He gave himself for that reason. So we could be a part of the house of Yahweh, that plan that Yahweh set up to be able to build his family. He knew that if we didn't make it, neither would Adam, neither would Abel or Moshe, Nora, Sarah, Isaac, Daniel, and all the others that we will bring back to life and teach them the things Yisrael taught us, pastors taught us. The creation is waiting for us to be revealed. And it doesn't matter if they're here on the earth or Pluto or anywhere else. They're waiting for us. That should be enough to motivate us to not want to make them wait any longer than they have to. Because those little microorganisms, I would venture that they're running around in bodies that are no different than the city of Aleppo. There's something trying to kill them and destroy them every inch that they go. Yahweh loves his creation. And he wants us to love his creation as much as he does. You ever stop to think, how much does Yahweh really love me? I know, maybe that's a stupid thing to think about. But think about it the next time you swallow or the next time you blink and you don't have to put something in your eyes to be able to make them moist. Or the next breath you take that you don't have to tell every part of your body to do whatever it needs to do to be able to breathe. Or the heart to beat. How much does Yahweh love you? How much do we love one another? Do we love one another like Yahweh loves us? We have to. He says to become perfect just as I am perfect. We can't get so caught up in this world and our own issues and problems and drama. We can't get so caught up in them that we forget why we're here, what we're doing. What is it all about? The house of Yahweh is not about me. And the house of Yahweh is not about you. It's about those that are going to come behind us. Just as when Yeshua did his work. Pastor hasn't done all of this work to bring us to this place, this point, so he gets a shiny star to put on his jacket. He did it for those that will come behind us. Whether they're our children that will come later, our grandchildren, or those in the inner cities, or those from foreign lands. The house of Yahweh is not about us. It's about them. It's about all of those on every other planet, star, under the sea, wherever they may be. It's about them. I realize working long hours, stress. When you do get an opportunity to just sit, you kind of just go blank. And we need that too sometimes. Not too long, but we need that too sometimes. But we ought to think about what is that plan? How do we, as this body, the seventh heir of the house of Yahweh, fit in this plan? What will be required of us when 2 billion come? Yahweh willing, He will be merciful. And out of the 2 billion, maybe the first group that comes up that road, maybe there'll only be 100. Can you imagine what it's going to take to bring 100 people through that gate and take care of them? They'll have what's on their backs. I'm sure they'll be dirty, hungry, thirsty. What's it going to take? What logistics have to be set in place to be able to deal with that? Oh, now Yahweh was merciful today. He only brought 100. Tomorrow's 2,000. That's in the morning. The afternoon, there's 7,000 more at the front gate. At midnight, there's 11,000 more at the front gate. How long is it going to take to bring 2 billion people in here? You know, I always use, the cafeteria. There's 2 billion, 1,000 people. Everybody wants a chicken leg. How many chickens does that take? And how many hours does it take to cut those pieces of chicken apart and get them ready to fry? Multiply that times showers, getting clothes, someplace for them to sleep, brushing your teeth. How many tubes of toothpaste does it take to brush 2 billion mouths? I don't have any idea, but somebody needs to think about that. We're here practicing how to fulfill that part of Yahweh's plan. We were chosen for this very purpose. No one else. It was us. Take some time and read the rest of Daniel chapter 7 with what we talked about today. Those people, those ones that are out there, they're waiting for us. They need us. Need being all capital letters if you were reading it. They need us. Some aren't going to have the best temperament. You think I'm mean? I got a feeling in 2 billion you may find somebody, just maybe one, that's meaner and nastier than I am. We need to take the time to find something in each other and in every one of those people that come that we can like. We can say we love one another, but man, the hard part's liking them. There's a big difference between love and like. Make sure we start looking at one another and finding something we can like. Not the things that we don't like, which makes it hard to love one another. Yahweh didn't make poor choices when He selected each one of you, each one of us. He didn't just select us to bring us here for this feast. We weren't born in Abraham's day or Seth's day. We were born in this time period, the last generation, the cream of the crop. Those that have the capacity and the ability to be perfect as Yahweh is perfect. We just have to let that out. We need to take and make the effort, take the time, make the effort to get better and better every minute of every day. And I do repent of being a mean, nasty old guy too often. I'm working on it. We all need to take the time to work on ourselves, because I can change me. I cannot change you. And with that, if you'll all please stand. It's my great honor and privilege to be able to introduce to you the great Kohan Shemyl Hawkins.